Hey everybody, welcome back to Anthony's Horror and More. And just like I promised, I'm here to give you guys my Child's Play ranking. And just like I knew from my last video, I forgot to show off something in that collection video that I did. Yep. No more Mr. Good Guy. I got this sweatshirt from Walmart for, around 20 bucks. Really, really great prices. You got to hit up Walmart around Halloween time, October, September, October. Walmart's got so much cool horror merchandise around there. You got to go in there and, buy some stuff. But we're here to rank the Child's Play franchise. So let's get into it. All right. At the very bottom of the list, we got the Child's Play remake. And, this movie, nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly watchable. It's fine. But it does feel very much like a studio, kind of spit out type of movie. There's not much heart to it. I don't really like the look of Chucky in this. I think Mark Hamill does a good job with the voice work, but obviously I prefer Brad Dourif. And Aubrey Plaza is good as the mother. I liked her. She's very, she's a good actress. She's funny. She's not really so funny in this movie, but she's all right. The kids, I think all the kids do a decent job. It's kind of slow to get started, and there's a few good kills in it, but not like a ton. And he's got the whole artificial intelligence thing going, so he can control machines and all that type of shit. And it's like, I don't know. I just prefer my Chucky old school. You know what I mean? With the voodoo magic and all that kind of stuff. But this is a perfectly fine watch, but it's at the bottom of my list. Bottom of the list. All right, and then until the 4Ks come in, I've just got this for some of the movies. So next up in 7th place, we have Cult of Chucky. Right there. Cult of Chucky. The 7th movie in the franchise, in 7th place. Yeah, Cult of Chucky, it was, I just rewatched that last night, and I even listened to the audio commentary and stuff, and, it's a fine movie. I think it's going for a lot, though. It's really swinging for the fences. Don Mancini directed it. He wrote it. He's in full control at this point. And I think Don Mancini is one of those guys that kind of needs to be, reined back. He's just one of those directors, one of those writers that it's like he just goes too far a lot of times with his ideas. But I do like the look of it. I like the way it's shot. It's got this very sterile, cold feel. They're in that... Nika's in that, nut farm / prison, where they're like basically detaining her to get better. But there's a lot of interesting characters in that like psychiatric facility / prison. I like a lot of the characters. I like there's like the mother who, I don't want to, I guess I won't spoil too much of the movie. Well, we'll say spoilers. You guys have all seen these movies, I'm sure. If you haven't, go watch them and come back and watch this. But, you got the lady that smothered her baby. She was a crazy character. You got the guy with multiple personality disorder. He was really interesting and fun to watch. There were a lot, you had the one, bitchy lady who was in it, you know what I mean? Who Chucky ended up decapitating her. I don't know what it is. Don Mancini loves a good decapitation, because that's not the first decapitation we're going to talk about. But he loves a good decapitation in his movies. But yeah, overall it was fine. It's very, it's weird because the tones shift so much throughout the series, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like you almost have to prepare yourself going into some of these movies. Like, okay, we're not doing the jokey joke anymore. Now we're going more serious, because Cult of Chucky is pretty serious. It does have some jokes and stuff towards the end, but it's pretty serious for, throughout the majority of the runtime. And but then you do the whole splitting souls thing at the end, in the third act, and I'm just not a big fan of that, guys. I'm trying. I understand that's where Don Mancini wants to go. I think that's where he's always wanted to go. It's so hard to, it's just weird. But there are some great kills in this movie. There are some, the guy gets drilled through the back of the head, through the eye. That's great. A lot of, the one dude, um, that was assaulting Nika, she just stomps his fucking head in, his face and all that. You get that great bloody head. And all that's practical. Those are all practical effects. I mean, I think there may have been a little CGI in some of the kills, where the blood looks kind of fake-ish or whatever. But the majority of it, I think, was all practical effects. Obviously, except for the glass coming down, cutting that chick's head off or whatever. Obviously, some of that was CGI, but um, it was good, man. A lot of the kills and stuff in this are good. So just I just don't like the whole split soul thing. That's my biggest complaint. And the movie I feel like is kind of a little boring at times. But that's really about it. But yeah, it's in 7th place. All right, next up we have Seed of Chucky, which I bet you guys didn't expect that to, because that's actually gone up a couple on my list. So yeah, Seed of Chucky I watched a couple nights ago, and where is it? Right here, Seed of Chucky. Yeah, Seed of Chucky. I gotta say, so I went in talking about mindsets. I went in with the mindset that this is a comedy slasher film, but it's a comedy first. And I gotta say, I really didn't hate it this time. Once again, the kills are good. It was made in a time where you could still be funny and make jokes. You know what I mean? Like, where the world didn't condemn you for making jokes and stuff. Like, so it was still made in a time where you could be funny. And there's a lot of good kills. I mean, once again, you got the guy that gets decapitated. His head goes flying in the air, and his neck is just squirting out blood like a fountain. That's a great kill. You got all those kills at the beginning of the movie. You got the guy's face that gets melted by the acid. Once again, a lot of good practical effects in this movie. I think the only CGI really is, like, I think when the acid gets poured on his face, when it's melting, I think that's CGI right there, but the after effect, what it looks like after his face is all melted off, that's all practical, and that looks great. You also have the chick that gets set on fire at the end. That looked practical to me. Looked like she was really on fire. Like they probably had one of those suits on, or it was probably like a dummy body or whatever. I think it was a dummy body, because then they throw it over the railing. So that looked cool. Or maybe a mix of a dummy and a real person. But yeah, so good kills. The jokes all land really well. Yeah, Glenn Glenda, I thought was, I don't know, the character didn't bother me as much this time around. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan, but I do like the look of the character, because they've got like this, like those sharp, like shark teeth, and just that creepy red hair, and kind of a very thin face and thin body. There is something very creepy about the way Glenn Glenda looks. So I like that. I don't know. When I went into it, and when Chucky kills Britney Spears in the movie, that was funny too. He runs her car off the road and you just see it explode. Like, there's a lot of good gags in this movie. By the way, I love Jennifer Tilly in this movie. I think Jennifer Tilly is great, because she's not afraid to make fun of herself. And I love that. She's not afraid to call herself, a fat or a whore or a bitch or this. I mean, she's making fun of herself throughout the course, because, you know, Tiffany is making fun of Jennifer Tilly, the real, like, the actress that voices Tiffany. So Tiffany's just sitting there calling Jennifer like every name under the book, like, oh, she's such a whore, she's such a bitch, she's this, she's that, she's, Jennifer Tilly's just like drinking the bottle of wine and doing all this stuff, and just, fucking all, she's, banging Redman to get that part in the movie, and she's gonna play, Mother Mary, and it's just it's fun. It is funny. I mean, it's legit good, and I like when Chucky and Tiffany are, taking they took a vow not to kill anyone else. And, then Chucky just, that closet opens up, and all those bodies come falling out and stuff. So he's just been killing all these people. And same thing with Tiffany. She's been killing a shitload of people too. She guts Redman, and all of his guts come out and they're steaming and everything. That was another awesome kill. So yeah, overall, it's gone up. It's gone up, guys. I enjoyed Seed of Chucky this time around. I gotta say, the things that bugged me before didn't bug me as much because now I had the right mindset going into it. So yeah, not bad, not bad. All right, so coming in in fifth place, we have Curse of Chucky. Yeah, Curse of Chucky. Oh, by the way, Seed of Chucky was also directed by Don Mancini. Cult of Chucky was directed by Don Mancini, and now Curse of Chucky is also directed by Don Mancini. So all three of those, and the show is basically his too. You know, the Chucky TV show. So yeah, so Curse of Chucky. You know, it had been a while since we had gotten a Chucky film, and this was a direct to DVD movie. And I'll never forget renting it and just watching and being like, wow, this is like kind of taking it back to basics, where it's a slow burn. You don't even hear Chucky talk like in his normal like Brad Dourif voice, until 45 minutes into the movie. It's crazy, when he's under the covers with that little girl, and she's talking to, what does she say? She's like, I'm scared, Chucky. And he's like, you have no fucking idea, or something like that, you know what I mean? Or you're about to be real fucking scared, or something. He says something funny, and it was like, oh shit, there it is, the iconic voice, which we haven't heard since Bride of Chucky, so it's been so many years. Yeah. It was great. I love the slow, but you just see Chucky kind of doing things behind the scenes a little bit, like what he's been doing, like he poisoned that priest, another decapitation scene, by the way, because he gets into that car accident and the cops like, move all that shit off, get that car, the car parts and all that shit off of him, and then they move that big piece of metal and his head just falls off and the blood comes spurting out. I'm telling you, Mancini loves a good decapitation. So you get some good kills. I love Nika. I love Fiona Dourif, who's Brad Dourif's daughter. I just love her. I love her character in these movies. I think she's a really good actress. I think she's super cute. I really do. She's one of those people that, you're kind of, she's got like a magnetism about her, a lot of charisma. You're just kind of naturally drawn to her. So I think that's perfect because, Brad Dourif, as the voice of Chucky, it's kind of the same thing. You need to hear that voice, because you're just drawn to it. I think Nika's excellent in the movie. I really like her character. It's kind of cool that she's handicapped too in a lot of ways because it adds another layer. Like, it's like, wow, how does somebody in a wheelchair get away from Chucky and fight him off? And they find a lot of creative ways. Same thing in Cult of Chucky. They find a lot of creative ways for her to utilize her wheelchair to her benefit. And I thought that was really cool how Mancini incorporated that. Like, it's like, yeah, she's stuck in a wheelchair, but she utilizes it, she makes, so I thought that was really cool too. There's oh, by the way, for Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, there's unrated versions of both of those, just so you know, and they're on these discs here, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, there's a lot of good kills, Chucky, that scene where she's Nika's sister's got Chucky up there in the attic and she's examining him, and she starts peeling back his face and it reveals the stitches and everything from Bride of Chucky, and you're like, oh, holy shit, he's still got the stitches and everything. He just put like this kind of makeup on his face or whatever, this plastic to cover up his stitches, and then she's peeling it back, and then he just fucking stabs her in the eye, rips her eye out, or he stabs her, and then he goes running up to her or whatever, and then he like digs her eye out, and then he tosses it down the stairs, and Nika finds it. It was just, oh my god, man, it was so good. Or was it Nika that found her? I think it was the sister's husband that found it. Either way, I don't. It was a great scene. It was really really good. Um, so you had that, and you had I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff. Oh, the really hot chick that Nika's sister. I keep calling her Nika's sister. I'm trying to remember. I think her name. Oh, Barb. I think that's her name. Barb. Um, Barb was having an affair with this really hot chick, who ends up getting electrocuted. She gets Chucky electrocutes her to death, and you just see part of her face melting off, burning off, or whatever. And that was a really good scene too. Yeah, just lots of good stuff. I like Curse of Chucky. I like it a lot. So that's in 5th place. Next up, we got, where is it? Bride of Chucky. Yeah, Bride of Chucky, badass, super fun time. I always have a good time watching. I can put on Bride of Chucky and have a great time. I love, we get introduced, to Jennifer Tilly, who then turns into, Tiffany. She goes inside that doll, and I love Tiffany. She's hilarious. They have great chemistry with each other. Her and Brad Dourif, they have perfect chemistry, and yeah, it's fun. I love the scene at the beginning, or towards around the beginning time where she's got that super gothy boyfriend that's there, and Chucky just goes and sits on, they kill the guy or whatever. Chucky kills him, and then he's just like sitting on the pillow that's on his face. It just, I just thought that was so funny. Um, oh man, John Ritter, rest in peace, John Ritter. He gets the airbag with all the nails and stuff in it right to the face, and then they're like, oh, that looks familiar, referencing Pinhead. I thought that was cool too. The guy gets, the best friend gets hit by a semi truck. That was good. A lot of good kills. Oh, when Tiffany throws that bottle in the air and it smashes the glass and it comes down, it falls and kills that couple that was robbing them. There's blood and wine, all this stuff all over the place, and water. Yeah, there's just so much to love about Bride of Chucky. It's got the humor, but the humor isn't like Seed of Chucky humor. It's like kind of that perfect mix, that perfect blend of horror and humor. The only scene that I guess you could say maybe is a little too much humor is when Tiffany and Chucky fuck. I guess you could say they took the humor a little too far there, maybe, but it's a good scene and it leads into Seed of Chucky and all that stuff. So I get it. I get what he was going for. All right. So next up we have my top 3, and number 3 is number 3, Child's Play 3. Love Child's Play 3. I've always, the first 3 films, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I've been watching these since I was a kid. I love these movies. And, Child's Play 3 is just a blast. I mean, when he kills that dickhead in the office built, on the skyscraper, the head of the toy company and all that. And, he goes and he's throwing darts at his back and he's fucking with him and then he strangles him with the jump rope and all that. Like, there's just so many iconic moments, when he kills the guy that right here, this scene, the guy that's cutting hair, he slashes his throat and he says, presto, you're dead. I love that. The guy, the colonel or general or whatever, who falls over from having a heart attack, and Chucky's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, there's just so many good lines, so many good scenes, Chucky, stop swearing, or Chucky, stop cursing, it's so good. Let's see, what else? Yeah, it's just, I love the military school setting as well. I think that lends itself to the movie. Yeah, I think I love the military school, that whole thing. I love, yeah, let's see, what else do we got here? I wanted to talk about somebody else. Just kind of going through some of the cast here. Yeah, Tyler was great. As the little kid. I like Justin Whalen as Andy Barkley. I think he plays a good adult version of Andy. I like Perry Reeves as De Silva. I thought De Silva was this badass chick, wasn't taking any shit, from Shelton or anything. Um, and speaking of Shelton, I love that guy. He's so good at playing like a fucking dickhead. I loved. It's always whenever you have like that dickhead character in a movie, and they just play it so well, it just adds to it. Um, let's see. Yeah, and that's really about it. I think the paintball gun scene, that's scary as all hell. Chucky replacing the paintballs with real rounds, real bullets. Like that was really fucking. I was like, oh my god, that's like terrifying. Um, yeah, I mean, so that's it for Child's Play 3, man. I love the movie. You know, it's a great one. And I love the setting at the end too with the fair and everything. I thought that was great too. Next up, we got Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2, yes. Another great movie. Never get bored of watching it. It gives you more of what you want with Chucky. You just want to see more Chucky. You want to hear, Brad Dourif's voice more in the film. Andy Barclay returns again, the same kid, Alex Vincent. And let's see what else we got. You got the adoptive parents, who I think are both good. Once again, the adoptive dad is so good at playing kind of a dickhead. Um, and I love that. And then you have the juxtaposition, because then the mother is so sweet and everything until she loses her husband. And then she's like, stay away from me, Andy. You scare the hell out of me," or whatever. Like it's so good. And then you got Kyle. I love Kyle. She was a great addition. Another badass kind of punk rock chick. I love that. The whole setting in the third act, at the toy factory, is excellent. I love that. And then, of course, they kind of, Devin Whitehead did like a version of that for this cover. When that guy gets the machine that puts the eyes, those fake toy eyes into him, and, there's blood and stuff coming down. That was such a good kill. How's it hanging, Phil, when he kills the, the dad, yeah. And, yeah, just a lot of good stuff in this. It's a perfect blend. It really does. It does. Oh God, when they kill the when Chucky kills the teacher, Miss Kettlewell. I love that too. You've been very naughty, Miss Kettlewell. And you just hear her screams, and you just see that ruler coming down over and over again. Oh my God. And just so much good stuff in that movie. But yeah, that's my number 2. And number 1, Child's Play, the OG, triple OG, double OG. Yep, we got Child's Play. Love this steelbook, man. It's one of my favorite. I just love that artwork. But yeah, iconic. The reason I love the first Child's Play so much is because it truly is just like a very scary, atmospheric horror film. Like, I'll never forget that moment when she's looking on the back of him, at the battery pack, and she realizes there's no batteries there, and then, the head spins around, and she drops the dowel, and, falls to the floor and rolls under the couch, and all that creepy shit. It's just so good. It really takes its time. That's why I loved Curse so much, because it reminded me a lot of the first film, where it took its time. And there's nothing wrong with, I love Chucky being Chucky throughout the movie, like in part 2 and 3 and Bride and all that stuff. But there's something about that slow build that's just great, where you're like, is the doll even fucking alive, or is it Andy? Is Andy killing these people? Because for a while you're like, maybe it is the kid. Maybe Andy's killing all these people. Maybe he killed his babysitter and all that stuff. So yeah, I just love that. I love how dirty and gritty it feels too, like outside, like the streets of Chicago and everything, where it's just, they did such a great job of it. Just looks so like, like the actual streets of, like, the inner city, of like Chicago. I mean, you got homeless people, and you got, burned down buildings, and, just, it's, there's, garbage and shit all over the streets. And just, if, and it's very cold, and, there's snow on the ground. It's just, I love that feeling. As I love that whole thing in the first Child's Play film. Um, and I love the look of, charred Chucky when we get good old charred Chucky here. Got to show him off, obviously. The third act of the film. They throw him in the fireplace. This is the end, friend. He just gets lit on fire. But Andy, I'm your friend till the end. This is the end, friend. It's so good. Yeah. When he's fucking with, the police officer, he's stabbing from under the seat, and, you got that cool car sequence, where he's driving super fast, and then he turns over the car and all that. So, like, that's great too. And he's shooting at Chucky, and Chucky's bleeding. He gets shot, and he realizes, like, oh shit, I'm turning human. And also, I love the voodoo aspect. I love that whole thing. Him getting, him building that little voodoo doll of that guy that, taught him about, the magic stuff and the amulet and all that stuff. And he just starts folding that guy's legs and his arms and all that stuff. That was a great kill. And I wish that we got more of that stuff. I wish that we got more of, like, the voodoo stuff, because that's such an interesting thing about the first film that they don't really go on to explore anymore after the first film. They just kind of leave it behind, but I love that. Yeah, I do. I really do love that whole aspect to it. I wish that they had gone back to it. Maybe they do in the show. That'd be cool if they went back to that in the TV show. I'm not sure. One of these days I'll actually watch the show. But yeah, that's one thing that I always really liked. And, I love the mother. I love, her relationship with Andy and everything. It's interesting too, because the actress, she was talking about how her and Andy would, they were getting, close on, like, on set and everything, and they were really developing, like, they were trying to develop, like, a mother son bond. She even gave Andy, I believe it was a necklace, which he still has. Alex Vincent, the actor that plays Andy, still has that necklace to this day, which I thought was really cool. I was like, oh man, that's nice. I like hearing stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm glad they were able to develop that, and I think Alex Vincent just does such a great job as the child version of Andy. I know he's in Cult and Curse, at the end there and stuff like that. He's okay as an old, a seasoned actor. And I mean, well, not really seasoned. I don't know. I don't think he really went on to do too much stuff after Child's Play. Maybe he did, but he was such a good kid actor. But yeah, Catherine Hicks, that's the name of the mother. I was trying to think of Catherine Hicks. You might also know her from, like, Seventh Heaven and stuff like that. And, A Nightmare on Elm Street. She's in the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, she does a great job playing the mother. She really does. I love their bond, And yeah, that's really about it. But yeah, that scene where Alex Vince, where Andy is he's in that that hospital that, like, for kids or whatever. It's kind of like a mental hospital for kids, and he's just sitting in his room and he's crying, and nobody believes me. He's cheering. I'm like, God, dude, that is so powerful for just this little kid, like, he's like 6 years old or whatever. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, he is just selling it. So yeah, I love the first Child's Play film. So sorry that this was a little bit longer, but it's Chucky, so I got to talk about it for a while. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's my review, or that's my ranking / review of all the films, I guess. I'll give you a quick rundown one more time, because it was kind of a long video, but we got Child's Play, the remake, in 8th place. We've got Cult of Chucky in 7th place. We've got Seed of Chucky in 6th place. We've got Curse of Chucky in 5th place. We got Bride of Chucky in 4th place. We've got Child's Play 3 in 3rd place. Child's Play 2 in 2nd place. And Child's Play, the first film, in 1st place. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for joining me on this, and please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, and that's about it, guys. Yeah, so I will see you guys later. Peace out.